them to perpetuate these types of sentiments, even if they don't genuinely believe them themselves. And that to me rang true in the fact that you don't do every single live in that makeup and that bullshit ass wig that he was wearing.
Oh, absolutely. I give you that. That is fair. 100%. So, but my thing is, there's a lot that goes on this app, Black TikTok alone. Okay. Black TikTok is unmatched. Okay. No other side of this app has the powerhouse that we have. Like we are active 99.999% of the year. Okay. We take one day off, and that's the Juneteenth, and still we are active. All right. But this side of the app, it has a lot that comes with it. And a lot of people subject themselves to things that they don't have to. Like, it's the same way I tell people when in a live, if I'm modding or something for somebody, if you don't like it, leave. Scroll up, scroll out, close your app, do something. But that is the thing. There are so many things that happen on this side of the app that people want to learn, but they also just want to, like you said, they want to chirp off in the comments because they'll never want to come up. They'll never want to they never want to face the music because they think down in the comments is where the bigotry will forever stay and stuff. There are people, Snax, Jacks, all of them, who have said, fuck that, the bigotry will come up top.
Yeah.
And people still allow it. I'm not talking about you and Genty. Like, y'all can go at them all you want. You are grown men and you are free to do that. But it is platforming the people who also follow them. And so the people who are only being platformed for the clout. Because at the end of the day, we know people like that sit on their side of this app, like Rosebud and them, they only doing it for the clout. They ain't got nothing in them. And like Avery said, transracial does only apply to the adoptee community. As an adoptee with a very, very much Alfredo Pigeon family, my mother and my father are both very much. I have my biological mother too. I grew up with her. I was only adopted for medical reasons, because we knew insurance would get me more. So there's a lot, and I could have ended that whole conversation with him by just existing in the box, but Genty had his own style, and cool. I sat there and listened, but at the end of the day, y'all, don't subject yourselves to a conversation where your communities are constantly being under attack. And so, because sometimes the education is not going to happen down in the comments. It needs to happen in the box. So if you're not going to get in the box and you're just going to be upset and triggered by the conversation, it is best to leave and protect your peace and let those, such as people who have the stability to do so, like Ispeak, like Genty, like Ebb, to let them handle it on their own. On that note, if you are ever in need of something, feel free to reach out. Logic has that song. There's the phone number. 988 is also a good number. And also, check on your friends. Check on your family. Okay? Black people, I am talking to you and you alone. We are not okay. Not a single one of us can honestly say we are okay. We all have something going on. It is okay to not be okay. You can reach out. Okay? Every single person on here has a DM. You can find somebody to reach out to. Even if it's me, you may not know me. Okay? My main page, my DMs are always open. My IG, always open. My Discord server, always open, along with 2 mods in there who will actively sit and listen to you complain, if you want to call it that, for hours on end. But do not struggle alone. There is enough going on in this community that we have each other, and find the right people who will have your back. Much love to you all.
Tori, go ahead.
Hello, I speak. First, I want to apologize to the LGBT community from us heterosexual people. This is how I know that heterosexual is not a choice. Like, I'm literally attracted to men. But sometimes I'm embarrassed to be heterosexual because the display that these men had today, it was very embarrassing. I was
Yeah,
embarrassed.
I will agree.
I was literally on my phone screaming, like, what in the world? What I don't like about my community is that they just don't let people live how they want. They're so quick to judge somebody for living their life. And the crazy thing about this is, why can't they live their life and be happy? Why don't they understand you literally have one life to live? Why in the world they cannot live their truth? Why is it so offensive to you for somebody to say what they are? He was not respectful. All they ask in Gentie's life and to your life is to be respectful. They still could not do that. That's what was pissing me off. All you gotta do is respect, because y'all, and mind you, when he made it seem like, oh, why are we what did he say? He made it seem like heterosexuals were oppressed. That's what pissed me off. That's what pissed me off. We are not oppressed.
Right.
We are in society the norm. We are the ones that's going after people who don't live like us. This is why I'm embarrassed to be a heterosexual woman. This today was embarrassing and it was heartbreaking. Even most heartbreaking is that this man was speaking his crap. And guess who was supporting him? A white supremacist white woman. I saw all the gifts and I almost choked like, are you serious? He don't get that excuse my language, I don't know this one. He's like a bootlicking.
Oh yeah, 100%. I
Yeah, he's a
1000%.
bootlicking.
I
That's what it was.
1000% agree with that. And and,
Cause
and,
like,
and 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 I want to be very clear. We're not talking about him in his absence. I've told him this to his face. I
okay.
do believe that there are. Now I've met some very intelligent. Not Angel just called him a token. I have met some black conservatives that do not perpetuate right wing racist talking points
Right.
and or become mouthpieces for white supremacy. So I will
Right.
say that they exist. However, on this platform here, what I've come to find is that they've learned how to monetize their anti-blackness. And that translates over into other communities to whereby, like you said, they start to get gifted, they start to get that praise and kudos in the comment section, and they start to feel validated as a result of that, which is why I
Exactly.
truly do believe, especially when the numbers start going up, we can't only think about those that share our same thought process. Although it may make you a little uncomfortable, you have to be able to also hold space to understand that there is someone among us that do not know the right thing or the right stance of this argument and hold space to correct as well as properly inform. Case in point, and I'm gonna let you finish out your sentiment. I apologize for interrupting.
It's okay.
That entire time he was talking with Kendra and she was eating his fucking lunch.
Every single time.
Not once he brought forth that one graph that did not even support his argument. And then when Snax came up with a damn Wikipedia source, like when he said,
He got so
according to
much confidence.
Wikipedia, I literally, the debater in me wanted to reach through that phone and strangle, you know what I'm saying, his whole guest request. Wikipedia, at your grown age, you gonna use Wikipedia as a source? Are you kidding me? That lets me know right there that you're not ready for no. And you talking about you want to debate me using Wikipedia? Go ahead,
Right.
Tori.
Wikipedia is
Right.
not even
Hold
a
on, sweetheart.
reliable
Give me
source. Sorry.
Blackcraft baby, please give me a second. What I was
Yes.
saying is I apologize on behalf of the heterosexual community. Not all of us are like this. We don't care. Some of us don't care how you live your life. We are not judging you. You are human. What people don't understand, especially those black conservatives, they just won't leave people the hell alone. Just leave them alone. Let them live their life and mind your business. Like at the end of the day, I was so hurt because it was just too much for me. If you have compassion and you are human, you would know that these people have feelings too. And how dare you not respect how they feel about themselves? That was my problem. And I would never be okay with this. And I will always go against this as a heterosexual woman. And it was not my choice. Just saying. All right. Y'all have a blessed day.
I
You
also want to
too,
point out
sorry,
just how
man.
I was
Sorry
about to say,
about earlier.
no, I just want to point out how chill her cat has been this entire time
Oh, yes,
while
yes.
she
Hi,
Yes.
while she
Peaches.
reading him for
Say
Phil.
hi, Peaches.
Hi, teacher.
All right, guys. I love you. I speak.
Definitely love you too.
Thank you. Hi, I speak. Long
What's
time
up?
no see. I just want to speak. Unfortunately, I'm not a part of the trans community, but I am part of the LGBTQ plus
You don't have to
community.
say unfortunately. If you're not part of the community, you're just not part of the community. That's all.
Understood. I am bisexual,
Okay.
and it angered me listening to the live, and I know exactly what their mindset is, and what Miss Tori said is right, and their how can I say it? Their views only matter because we know that TikTok is based off of racist views and hatred towards the LGBTQ plus community. We know that. They know that. Because why would you continue to set gifts towards a group of people that know that they don't even like you as a personnel, and then you're spewing that kind of hatred, and that's just feeling them, and so they are like, oh, this is a place where I can spew my hatred, so I'm gonna pay you so that you can spew your hatred. And so my anger towards it is just too much, because they are people who are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Your feelings are valid. You as a person, a human being on this earth, you are valid. And we
Oh
had this
shit.
conversation I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when we talked about Christianity and the views of Christianity. I have my views about it. It's full of narratives, and
In the
our
bathroom.
history has taught
No.
us
On your bed.
that
On your bed.
Christianity used the Bible for narratives. They used their narratives for that Bible. And to me, I just don't believe in that part anymore. I don't believe in that part of Christianity. God is in within yourself if you believe in him. And as a LGBTQ member, I don't validate my sexuality by a Bible. I don't base it off that. And you should not be basing my sexuality against the Bible, because we know for a fact that the Bible has been mistranslated for years and eons, and we know for a fact it's been used to manipulate the masses, to come at the LGBTQ plus, to destroy masses of communities. We know all about this. And it's just so sickening to sit here in 2022 and we're still with that concept. We're still basing our views, we're still basing everything around the Bible, as well as basing hate and a lot of anti-Blackness from right wing extremist views. And to me, we need to stop.
I got
It's
you.
got to stop.
I got you. Miss Mocha.
Because, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you, Blackcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Miss Mocha.
Good morning. Hello. Yeah, hello. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting me up. I speak. So I just want to say that I am not a part of the LGBTQ community per se. I'm a heterosexual female. However, when my granddaughter came to me at 14 years old and let me know that she was part of that community, I too became a part of that community because that's my tribe. As I sat here earlier and watched Snax using his mother, per se, as an example of the biological definition of what a woman should be, I felt that he used her as a concept, I called it the 52 fake out, where you can't admit to yourself that your point you were trying to make was invalid. Biologically, that's science. You were born a woman, that's biological. We get that. But to use your mother as your stepping point for your hatred. And
Right.
as far
And then
as,
thought I was
you
going
know
to
what I'm
agree with
saying?
him.
Right, exactly. And I watched that and I was like, just dig in there, just dig in there. And as far as the lumberjack was concerned, you can tell by his body language that he is part of the, what we used to call, because I'm older, the good old boys rhetoric. His head is full of the rhetoric given by his racist counterparts. And if you watch my videos, you know I go hard after TikTok every single day when it
Right.
comes to their racism, their propaganda as far as racism. And as long as we, and I include yourself because I can't praise you enough for having these conversations, because if it weren't for people like you, your knowledge, and the way you're very well spoken on a lot of topics, if we don't have people on this platform such as yourself, TikTok will continue to promote this hatred propaganda against the LGBTQ community, about people of color, indigenous people, so on and so forth. But unless we continue to do our research, come to a platform and know what you're talking about, because obviously Snack and the Lumberjack obviously don't, but as long as TikTok allows these clowns to remain in the circus, there's always going to be admission.
Facts.
So I just want to thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just want to
I
thank
got you.
you and continue to do what you're doing, standing up for, I don't want to say the underdog because they're not, but they're the underdogs on this app. Outside of this app, they can be part of my tribe forever and a day. I will always support them. I will always support someone that doesn't have a voice, just like you do. And I truly appreciate everything you do for everyone on this app, and continue the good fight.
Yeah, no problem. Miss Mocha and Blackcraft, I'm going to drop you. I got two more people trying to come in.
Okay, thank
Go ahead, Callie, and then Why So Thirsty, and then Era's Place.
Okay. Well, Juan could go if he wants.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
he
before
can.
me if he
Yeah,
wants,
it's
because
me. All right.
No,
First
actually,
of all, what's up?
I didn't know it was you.
oh,
I didn't.
That's all right. Well, it's all good. It's
would
me,
you
though.
have accepted him if it
You're
was?
welcome.
I would have still
I
accepted
know,
him. I
like,
didn't
And I
know.
saw the
are
hand
you
over the
disappointed? Hold on a second. Are you disappointed?
No, I just didn't know.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, yes, it's Juan, y'all. The first Black Elder of TikTok, Black Elder of the Aquariums. I just wanted to come in real quick, and a lot of people have basically said what I was waiting to say, but I'll just make it quick and I'll get direct to the point. Over this past week or so, and my actual content it has shifted a little bit with some of my videos, and I know some people are not going to be happy with me, even mutuals, but it's starting to get to a head and a breaking point where I'm sitting here thinking to myself, so much of debate talk doesn't make sense. And what I'm saying is, Ant and a couple people already mentioned, when it comes to some people, they're monitorizing their talking points on here. They're only doing the shit, whether they believe it or not, because a lot of them, no matter how out there their beliefs and their talking points are, somebody's still paying them in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just from subscribers, to say the nonsense that they're saying. And not just the black conservatives, not just the queer phobes, not just the white supremacists, all of them, on some way, shape, or form, a lot of them are literally only doing and saying the things they are saying and doing because they're making money in some way, shape, or form. Now, like people talk about certain ops that certain people have. There's no reason to bring up any names. But when we see our bigger creator friends on here, like Ant and other people, talk about their ops, and they talk about certain people not having any content, sorry, if they don't talk about them. It's the same thing with a lot of these people. They don't have anything they can do or say unless people interact with them. And I think, I don't know why so many people just don't seem to understand or grasp the concept of it. I've watched debates over the past few days where people won, where people were completely right. They proved themselves with facts, statistics. Game over. It's done and over with. The other person or people just keep talking. And guess what the person who won does? They keep talking too. For what? For what? It doesn't actually make sense. It really doesn't make sense.
Well,
it just doesn't.
I think it's a twofold situation. Number one, I think we need to begin. This is part of the reason why I made the differentiation to Lumberjack when I was over on Genty's Live. These don't be debates. A debate is structured. There's speech times. There's a moderator oftentimes, if not a shared understanding of when I'm talking, you're quiet. When you're talking, I'm quiet. What takes place on TikTok are what I call heated discussions of preconceived notions. And really and truly, I would venture so far as to say sometimes they're nothing more but then persuasive monologues. Because it's not that the thing about debate is the basis of debate has been and will always be education. You can take a topic that you do not disagree with and debate the negative of and or debate the affirmative of. That is the nature of being a seasoned debater. What happens here on this platform, what you're speaking to, is oftentimes people with a preconceived notion that go on these persuasive monologues in the absence of factual information, trying to get other people to feel and think exactly the way that they are. Which is why I genuinely feel two things. Number one, it is our responsibility to foster equitable dialogue. How do you do that? When you make a claim, we can argue opinions to the end of the moon. But once you start mentioning things like studies, statistics, graphs, charts, bills, things that you can literally substantiate and they cannot substantiate them, I do believe to a degree, you're absolutely right. After a certain point, the conversation becomes cyclical and they do need to be dropped. However, my second piece to that is what I mentioned earlier. Oftentimes, we can't just think about those that are actively engaged in the conversation. We can't just think about oftentimes the 6 people or the 5 people or the 4 people or the 3 people or the 2 people that are up here in the box. We also got to think about the people that have absolutely no knowledge about what we're talking about. And therein lies the responsibility of not just the co-host and or panelist, but also the facilitator to ensure that they are facilitating dialogue that is not harmful to multiple communities. Now, final thought, there are some things that we just can't control, and lateral violence is one of them. We can hold space for minimal lateral violence, but there are oftentimes, sometimes a community, an individual, a group of people that are almost always going to be offended by the nature of the conversation that's being held. And to that, I would say two things. Number one, we are all responsible for our own triggers. And then number two, as the facilitator and or panelist, we are also simultaneously responsible for what comes out of here. And if you cannot factually back it up, you are operating in bad faith, and I will never respect that.
I completely agree, and that's the whole point. A lot of people get on me because when I mod for certain people, and I type over and over in their comment section, misinformation will be muted. People get so it's so weird. There's so much I've learned on TikTok about people because I don't really like interacting with people in real life at all. And people get so upset when they feel like they're being silenced. But when you tell somebody if something's misinformation, if you cannot prove something to be factually true and it's misinformation, and that is silence, and they're speaking their opinions, people don't seem to understand that their opinions can't be proven, which I don't understand how people don't understand that. But anyway, but just over the past week or so, I've literally seen lives where a non-Black person will have like Hebrew Israelite type people in their lives, like taking over their lives, speaking their nonsense, and they don't stop them. And I've watched a Black person host have a white man come in and say ridiculous stats that aren't true, and the host just sits there quietly because he wants views, because he wants people to keep talking. I've seen an African immigrant watch somebody who's second generation African immigrant get attacked and be called slurs and be xenophobic towards for being African. And the African host sat there quietly because he wants views. He wants attention on his live. My point is, two different things. One, we need to start holding hosts accountable when they're literally letting problematic things happen in their lives, and they just sit there quietly sipping on tea because they just want people to keep watching, and they don't care what goes on, and they don't care what's happening, and they don't care what's being said. We need to hold them accountable.
I'm a firm believer calling them out, 100%.
Yeah, we need to, and people won't do that. Nobody will do that. That includes if you mod for somebody. Well, I don't know, such and such. I'll use Ant as an example. Normally, Ant doesn't allow that type of stuff. I don't know why he allowed it that day. Well, then why aren't you in the Discord right now? Instead of defending that, why aren't you talking to him? Why aren't you calling him on his real phone number or something like that, talking directly to him about it and how wrong he is? Why are you in somebody else's live defending? You don't understand why he allowed it today. It's weird. Everybody needs to start holding people more. What I mean. And secondly, just like it's already been stated, and I got past my own point. The people who have the talking points and they're making money off of the things that they're saying on here, we need to all, and I'm not saying all of us, but most people need to not interact with them, block them. It's no point in saying I'm wondering what lumberjack. I don't mess with any of the Black conservatives, so I don't even know all their names. There's no point in me saying I wonder what he's doing today, because I already block them every time I see them, because I already know what they're about. Why would I watch them if I have no interest in the bullshit that they spew? I block people that I've never had any interaction with before, ever. I mean, zero interaction with, but I know what they talk about and I know what they're about, and I immediately block them. I don't have to interact with them. That's one of the other problems that people seem to not understand on here. You don't have to interact with anybody. You don't have to watch their videos. You don't have to get in their comments and say something. You don't have to go to their lives. And you definitely don't have to make a backup to go into their lives and see what they're doing, because that's fucking weird. If people would just stop interacting with a lot of the problematic people, sooner or later they'll go away because they'll run out of content. They get content from people interacting with them. It's literally that simple. Of course, everybody's adults. I can't tell everybody what to do, but I think a lot of people just don't look at it like that. I think a lot of people have the mentality of, I got to get my lick in. I already know I can overtalk such and such, but it's not all about that. As you're overtalking such and such and you're getting your lick in and you're proving that they're stupid, they're also video recording, and they also have the people who want to just hear them talk, listen to them talk.
Right, and I think wholeheartedly, Cal, yeah, I got you. Callie, we're going to get you next. I think wholeheartedly it kind of goes back into what you said about number one, not being able to control everybody. And then number two, also understanding that, the way the platform works, I think it's a gift and a curse as it relates to the algorithm because it inadvertently rewards essentially negative behavior. So